Okay, I mentioned to you about the Portugal program that closed down just recently, and now what's happened is the Ireland program, the Golden Visa program there, it just closed down, which I thought was the best program in Europe. I thought it was better than the Portugal program because there was no language requirement. You could get it done, in about the same length of time as the Portuguese program. But I'll tell you something, most people were not getting that Portuguese program because in Portugal because they weren't learning the language. And it was just not, a lot of people were not fulfilling the obligations. You had to go over there so much to qualify, which was not a big deal, but a lot of people were not fulfilling that. But the biggest thing was they were not getting the language part out of the way, trying to learn that. And the thing I liked about Ireland was, there was no language requirement for that. The visa-free travel was really good in the Irish program, but now they've scrapped that too. Now, Ireland does have a program called the STEP program. It's called a Startup Entrepreneur Program. And actually, the investment on this is for setting up a business, but it's about 1/10 of what the other Ireland program was, as far as the amount that you have to invest. Now, there are some more stricter guidelines on this one, and that's one reason it's cheaper than the other one. The other one, it was a lot more to invest, but you didn't have to stay in Ireland. You could take off and just leave. But to get the citizenship before, you had to be in Ireland at least 5 of the last 9 years to qualify for the citizenship. And so, the residency didn't do you any good for citizenship if you're not going to be there. Now, this program here, you're going to have to physically pretty much move there to get the passport and to run the business. And you can run it abroad, but they do have some restrictions on it. Now, again, it's called the Startup Entrepreneur Program, called STEP, S-T-E-P. And also, folks, if you want to legally get around your income taxes or how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. Number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. Okay, now the Startup Entrepreneur Program, called the STEP, was introduced by the Irish government in 2012. And this was to allow innovative entrepreneurs to apply for permission to establish their business and reside in Ireland on a full-time basis. Now, I want to go over some steps on, how to actually get started on this. Now, you might ask the question, how do you apply? Well, applications for the Startup Entrepreneur Program may be made electronically anytime, and also, proposals can be submitted as part of an application or considered on a quarterly basis by an evaluation committee. Now, how do you go about applying? Well, there are some forms that you're going to have to fill out. There is a guideline form, and then you have an application form you fill out. And then there are 2 steps to completing the application process. Step 1 is submitting an online application, and then step 2 is paying the application fee. You must pay the application fee of only €350 by electronic fund transfer. Now, this fee is non-refundable. Applications will not be processed until the fee has been fully paid. And then you got to give a copy of your passport, and you'll be responsible for the payment of any transfer fees and currency exchange fees. And the full amount of the €350 must be lodged to the bank account that you send it to for this with the government. And any sort of underpayment on this is going to screw up your application. So you got to make sure that all your fees are included where you're paying it when you're sending this money, or it's just going to back up everything. Please note that incomplete applications will be returned. Links to the 2019 guidelines and application form can be found on the actual government website that they've got. And then you've got, what happens, after you apply. Well, there's an independent evaluation committee consisting of senior public and civil servants. It's responsible for evaluating the suitability of your proposal, and then the evaluation committee will consider the proposal may seek further information from the candidate if required. The evaluation committee will make recommendations to the Minister for Justice as to the suitability for the proposal. Now, what happens if your application is approved? Well, applicants who are successful, whose proposals are deemed suitable for the evaluation committee and the Ministry for Justice, will be issued with a letter granting them permission to reside in the state. Now, what are the conditions attached to the permission? Well, the following conditions must be met in order for the permission to be granted. You must establish the business as outlined in your application. In other words, you're going to have some sort of business plan for this. You must work on this business on a full-time basis. You're not permitted to be employed in any other capacity. You must not become a financial burden to our state. You must also not have been convicted of any criminal offense in any sort of jurisdiction. Now, residency status under the Startup Entrepreneur Program, again called the STEP, may be withdrawn if any of these conditions are not met. Now, what happens if your application is unsuccessful? Well, they'll advise you at the minister's decision in writing and the reasons, why your application was refused, if it was refused. And the decision of the minister is final, and rejection of an application for residence under the START, or what's called the Startup Entrepreneur Program, shall not be subject to a review or appeal again. In other words, once you get turned down, that's it, you're turned down. If you got any questions on this, you can get back with us at www.citizenshipquickly.com and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.